I was standing at the edge of the tall grass, 1 foot off my bike, about to step forward and follow him into the forest. The man I'd been following for 10 minutes, the jogger in white shorts who made no sound on the dirt road, who the guard dogs never barked at, whose footsteps I couldn't hear even though you can always hear footsteps on gravel. The grass didn't even bend around him as he ran through it. I was 9 years old, and I was about to follow him into the trees. Then I heard my mom's voice to my left, loud and clear. "Maggie!" I turned and said, "What?" No one was there. When I turned back, he was gone too. And I realized something had been pulling me, leading me, and something else had just saved my life. I'm Alvin, and this is Common Ground Horror. I was about 9 years old, living in Suriname. It's a small country in South America, very poor. One major city, and the rest is rural. We lived in one of those rural areas. You couldn't even call it a town. Our closest neighbor lived in front of our house. The next neighbor was miles away. We lived right next to the rainforest. There was no reason for anyone to drive by our area. Nothing but a dirt road, bushes, and trees all around us. We didn't have TV or any entertainment at the house. My siblings and I spent our free time reading books, playing with toys, or riding our bikes up and down that dirt road. For years, it was like that. Quiet. Isolated. Very few visitors. I should mention something about myself before I continue. I've always had experiences with ghosts. Since I was very young, and still do, rarely, as an adult. I don't seek them out. They just happen. I've had my hair pulled when no one was there. My legs scratched at night. Words whispered to me when I was alone in a room. I got used to it. These were rare occurrences, so I didn't think about them much. But one day, I saw something that changed everything for me. Something that wasn't a ghost. I was outside watching our yard dogs play. We had guard dogs, big ones. They barked at everything, strangers, animals, anything that came near the property. I was watching them when I saw a man jogging past our house on the dirt road. A white man, wearing jogging clothes, shorts, a shirt, like he was out for a run. I'd never seen this person before. Our neighbors were Indian, and they lived alone. This wasn't one of them. And there was nowhere for him to be jogging to. The dirt road led to a dead end, just rainforest beyond that. The dogs didn't bark. They didn't even notice him. That should have been my first sign that something was wrong. I couldn't see his face clearly, just that he was white, wearing shorts, and jogging at a steady pace. I asked my mom about him. She said she didn't see anyone, didn't know who I was talking about. I didn't think much about it at the time. Maybe I'd just missed him when she looked. Maybe she was distracted. But a few days later, I saw him again. Same thing, jogging past our house on the dirt road. Same clothes, same steady pace. This time, I didn't ask my mom. I didn't tell anyone. I just immediately ran to my bike, and I started following him. I don't know why I did that. It wasn't curiosity. At least, it didn't feel like curiosity. I usually told my mom everything, where I was going, what I was doing. But this time, I just left. Got on my bike and started riding slowly behind him, about 12 feet back. The dogs, again, were completely quiet. They didn't bark, didn't even look at him. As I followed him, I realized something strange. I couldn't hear his footsteps. When you run on a dirt road, you hear something. Gravel crunching, dirt shifting, your shoes hitting the ground. But there was nothing. Complete silence except for my bike tires on the road. He didn't turn around, didn't acknowledge me even though I was obviously right behind him, following closely. I should have turned back. What was wrong with me? But I couldn't stop myself. Something was telling me to keep following him. We both said nothing to each other, just kept moving forward in silence. We reached the dead end of the dirt road. I thought he'd stop. Turn around. Do something. But he didn't. He just kept running, straight into the grass, heading toward the trees. The grass was tall, mid-thigh to hip height on an adult, thick and wild. When you walk through grass like that, you hear it. Rustling, swishing, the sound of your legs pushing through. I heard nothing. No rustling, no sound at all, and the grass barely bent around him. It should have been moving, flattening, swaying, but it was like he wasn't even touching it. He just kept running, straight toward the rainforest. I got off my bike. I was about to step into the grass, one foot already lifting off the ground to follow him into the trees. I don't know what I was thinking, or if I was thinking at all. I just knew I had to follow him. Then I heard it. My mom's voice, loud and clear, right to my left. "Maggie!" I turned my head and said, "What?" No one was there. The road behind me was empty. No one standing to my left. No one anywhere. I turned back around, facing the grass. The man was gone. Completely gone. No trace of him in the grass. No movement in the trees. Nothing. I was completely alone, and a deep chill ran through me. Cold. From the inside out. I jumped back on my bike and rode home as fast as I could. When I got home, my mom was in the kitchen cooking. I asked her if she'd call me. She said no. She'd been inside the whole time. Never left the house. She asked me why I looked so scared. I didn't tell her. I don't know why. I just said I was fine. But I wasn't fine. I kept thinking about what had happened. The man who made no sound. The dogs who didn't bark. The grass that didn't move. The voice that called my name when no one was there. I never saw that man again. Not once in all the years we lived there. And I truly believe that thing was not human. I don't think it was a ghost or a spirit. Those feel different. This was something else. Something I can't explain or understand. I believe I was charmed somehow, lured out of my house on purpose. That compulsion I felt, the need to follow him, the inability to stop myself, the fact that I didn't tell anyone, that wasn't me. I always told my mom where I was going, always. But that day, I just left, like something was pulling me. And if I'd stepped into that grass, I don't think I would have come back. I think about that moment a lot, my foot lifting off the ground. One more step and I would have been in the tall grass, following him into the rainforest. What would have happened to me? Would I have just disappeared? Would my family have found me? Or would I have been gone forever, like I'd never existed? I think about my mom's voice, how clear it was, how real. She was inside the house, cooking. She never called my name, but I heard it, loud and unmistakable. Something called me back, snapped me out of whatever spell I was under. Decades later, I met with a psychic medium. I didn't go looking for one. A friend dragged me to a session. The medium told me there's a guardian spirit protecting me, an older woman. She said this spirit has been with me for a long time, watching over me. I asked if it was my great-grandmother who had passed when I was very young. The medium said no. It was someone else. Someone I might not even know. I don't know how much of that is true. I'm not sure I believe in psychics. But I do know that something saved me that day. Something called my name when my mom didn't. Something broke the spell and pulled me back from the edge of that grass. I'm forever grateful for it, because I know, deep in my soul, that if I'd followed that man into the rainforest, I wouldn't be here telling this story. I still have experiences with spirits sometimes. Rare, but they happen. A shadow in the corner of my eye. A feeling of being watched. A whisper I can't quite make out. But I've never seen anything like that man again. And I hope I never do. Because there are things in this world that aren't ghosts, aren't spirits. Things that hunt, that lure, that charm you into following them. And if you're not careful, if you don't have something watching over you, you might follow them all the way to the end. I was 9 years old, and I almost did. But something called me back. And I listened. If you've lived through a nightmare you can't explain, I want to hear it. Send your stories to commongroundhorror@gmail.com to be featured on the channel. This has been Alvin for Common Ground Horror. Until next time, sleep well, if you can.